What if you had an executive assistant that only costs $450 a year? So this is Fyxer. It organizes your emails, schedules, and organizes your calendar, takes notes, all of the things that are just popping up on the screen right now, which it doesn't sound very impressive at first, but the way Fyxer organizes the inbox is based on how executive assistants actually work. So the company that built this trained it on data by the best executive assistants on the market, and looked at how they organize emails, how they decide which emails are important and which aren't. So if you're using, it already has some filters built in. It already has with Gemini some intelligence and rules that you can use, but it's mostly very basic. All it does is identify promotions, marketing emails, newsletters, subscriptions, and so on. So you can label those and you can move those out of your inbox right away. But for most other emails, Gmail doesn't really know what to do. Fyxer can actually figure out what type of email you're getting. It learns over time who you're getting it from and how you typically respond to certain types of requests. It's able to schedule things automatically and negotiate times with the other person. It's also able to look through your data, look through previous emails, and actually continue a conversation thread. So when you first start using it, basically what you get initially is a dashboard where you can set up categories. You can ask it to respect the categories that you already have. There's a couple that it will create out of the box, so things like payment, invoice emails, but there's much more going on here. You can actually decide how drafts are being created, what type of different tonalities of emails you can have, whether you're talking to a colleague, to a friend, or to a customer. It's able to differentiate and change the wording of drafts accordingly. And it'll also take notes of meetings that you're running and be able to derive follow-ups and actually follow up on emails that you send, send reminders if someone hasn't replied to you yet. And when it is scheduling meetings, it can do more than just book something in your calendar. It can actually set up tooling around the meeting. So that's actually pretty interesting. So one thing that I noted when I started using Fyxer was that it's actually, these categories that it builds and it can add categories over time. They're really good. They're very precise. But more than that, it's able to identify which emails I should be reading and which are things that are just there to take note of, so it can move those out of the inbox. But more than that, it'll give you a summary of what emails you received and which are important and you should read in detail, and which are things where it'll just give you an overview to say, hey, you've received an email from these people, it was about these topics, but there's nothing you need to reply to, there's nothing you specifically have to take action or to take note of. So that's super useful. My inbox actually dropped to inbox 0 now with little to no effort from my side. And also a lot of the emails I'm getting where I'm thinking, oh man, I told you about this in the previous email, or where I know the answer to that is in one of my documents, so I just need to share a document or forward it to that person. It already does that in the drafts. It actually creates drafts that are really meaningful. So in a lot of cases, all I have to do is just review what's written, maybe tweak it a bit, and then send it off. So the time to act on emails has shrunk by a lot, and combined with Google's workspace automation, which I'll show you next, it's incredibly powerful. Automatically organizing your email inbox isn't anything new. Rules and filters have been around for over 2 decades. A decade ago, people were using IFTTT or Zapier. to build small automations in their inbox. And today, people are using tools like N8N or Gumloop to automate their inboxes as well. So, what's the difference here? Well, the difference is the way Fyxer does it is pretty smart. The way it recognizes and labels and categorizes mails, the way it acts on mails, really feels like having another person doing a lot of the pre-processing for you, and then basically just providing you with an overview of here are the things that you've received, here are the things that you need to do, here are the things that we need to schedule. So it's really someone organizing your calendar and your inbox for you. I'm pretty sure that going forward, Fyxer will also add things like travel management and other tasks that executive assistants would do. It already connects to HubSpot as a CRM, and it has some experimental features coming up that are leaning towards that direction. So it'll be interesting to see how this thing develops. I don't have a pro subscription, but you get a 7-day full trial, which you can extend if you bring in some referrals. So great growth tactic, and they used it to hit, I think, 17 million ARR in 8 months. So that speaks for the product and the growth tactic. But having said that, when you sign up for Fyxer, you're just dropped into this and you have no idea what to do and what is going on. So initially I thought that this was the tool, but actually what you see here, the dashboard and everything that you can do here is basically just to configuring what Fyxer is supposed to do in your inbox and calendar and how it behaves. So this isn't really the tool itself. In fact, the tool is just invisible. It lives in your inbox and your calendar. You just see results of it. So that's great. But what is not so great is that it takes you a while to figure all of this out, and there's no onboarding, no tutorials, no nothing. So this is something I think they can improve on. The other thing that they can improve on is initially when you do your scheduling and when you set up your inbox, there are things that you might miss because, well, the lack of onboarding. So one of the things I missed was that in your scheduling, you actually have to set some core work times. And, I hadn't done that because I'd already done that in Google Calendar. So what happened was someone who had contacted me set up a meeting with me at midnight. And well, I was asleep at midnight, so I didn't notice that. And the guy was in the call for like 10, 20 minutes and then dropped off. So, Brian, wherever you are, apologies for that. That said, I learned to make those changes and improvements in the scheduling, which, if you're looking to optimize your scheduling flow, this is where you have to do it. You have to actually set your meeting settings. And the problem is all you get is a dinky little sidebar like this instead of something that's a full screen or a new detailed menu or something. So this to me feels a bit vibe coded, to be honest. And yeah, I had to make sure that I actually block the times like this, which if you don't do that, it'll just assume that, well, the entire day is free. So yeah, make sure you set your meeting settings. Otherwise, people might get mad at you. And there's a lot of other details like this that still feel unrefined, considering the fact that they're already making a lot of money with this and that it is actually a good product. Some of these feel a bit like oversight or a bit rushed. And in some instances, it feels like actually there was someone at the helm who doesn't know how software products are supposed to work, especially ones who are doing important work like this. That said, overall, the tool is pretty reliable. So when I go through these labels and through my inbox, there's nothing that is off or that is wrong. And even the drafts, the email drafts that I'm getting, they're pretty good. So in terms of the quality of output, it's pretty good. In terms of usability, there's things that they can improve. So this is Fyxer. I'm not being paid by them. This is not a sponsored video. And I'm pretty sure at some point Google, Outlook, and the like might actually make tools like this or functionalities like this a core part of their products. I would be surprised if they didn't. But in the meantime, this is a great way to get some time back.